All right, we are back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith, and we got Carter and Richie today. How we doing, boys?
Well, happy hump day, everybody. We're a couple days closer towards the weekend. I'm doing great. I don't know about you guys.
Doing phenomenal, man. Hump day, got a nice little midweek action here. Got some, a lot of stuff going on. There's been a lot going on actually in college football the past few days, which has been crazy. Given that there's absolutely nothing happening in the world of college football outside of just people switching jobs and things like that. So, a lot to talk about there. It looks like Notre Dame got their guy on the defensive side of the ball, and so we'll talk about that and a lot of other stuff going on. But Duke, how's your week going so far?
My week is good, man. Can't complain. Just living, as Matthew McConaughey would say.
Livin.
Yes, There's nothing going on. Although we did have a heat wave, it was like 35 degrees here last night.
Shit, it was almost 50 degrees here in Columbus.
It was like 46 up in Canton, so half the snow's gone.
Just living, guys. As Sid said, just LIV living. Speaking of LIV, I want to make sure we do a mandatory 10-minute golf breakdown to start the show here today.
Yeah, can we talk about Tiger and Rory and how well they did the other night? They wear shorts. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there. But other than that, man, it's been a great week. Got a lot to look forward to this weekend. A lot going on in college football. I guess we didn't really address. I don't know. You guys didn't spend a whole lot of time on it last night from what I saw. I was in and out. But obviously, there's a lot going on. And Twitter melted down last night with the Michigan stuff and all that going on. And we don't get into it a lot on here because, A, we're not a Michigan or an Ohio State podcast. So it's not. I mean, we'll talk about both programs because they're relevant in the Midwest stratosphere. But, I mean, we got some funny interactions, some funny things to talk about. But what do you guys feel right now? Are you guys? I guess I'm in the boat of I don't give a fuck. I'm over this. I don't care anymore. Wake me up when there's sanctions or when something happens.
Okay, here's this is not going to be the unpopular opinion, but this is my opinion. Obviously, we know people in this space in the college football world.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to this Michigan thing, this is just my piece on it. We've known this for I don't know
over a year.
Over a year. And now the mainstream media is picking it up, and I'm kind of like, I don't really care because it's going to be another 6 months to a year.
Yeah. I think they'll have it wrapped up in the next 2 to 6 months, but that's just based off of the timeline of when they normally do things. Obviously, with courts and things like that, it might take longer, but ultimately, yeah, there was nothing new. The only thing that was kind of new is that Michigan confirmed they did pretty much everything people said they did.
And it's not even 100% like that. It's not like alleged or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more or less like Stallions. Well, the one thing I seen that Ross Dillinger reported was that Stallions pretty much said that that low level staffers he was going to them, asking them to rent cars, go to Georgia, and then Partridge told. This is in the thing that I read that Chris
Partridge told him
you're not doing that, and
he told him he's not going to be involved in your sign stealing stupid thing. That's what he called it. He said, "Your sign stealing stupid thing." He's not going to be involved in that, which I thought that was just funny. But all it really confirmed is Sharon Moore, Jesse Minter, Partridge, Mike Hart were all aware of it and either involved in it or turned a blind eye to it. Mike Hart reported it, apparently. I don't know if he reported it to the NCAA. Nobody really knows who did that, apparently. Although it was also confirmed that it was reported within the Michigan or university. Like somebody associated with Michigan's the one who tipped the NCAA off. So everybody out there who is still riding on it was Ryan Day's brother, which is hilarious. I love that you guys are still riding with that.
It's still going on, man. It's hilarious. It is funny.
And it's like Michigan is in the report as confirming it came from within their own university, and people are still like, no, it was Ryan Day's brother. I'm pretty sure. And it's like the university is telling you.
Ryan Day's brother in the CIA. Yeah, he's totally had it. Yep.
But anyways, enough about that for now. I do have a little bit more that we'll touch on later, but getting into some social media stuff here. I saw this today, and as we get ready for what I like to call list season, right? There's no more football. We have 2 weeks to talk about the Chiefs and Eagles, which I got to tell you, I don't think we've talked about it once on this program. I've had it in the notes. I don't think we've addressed it. It's going to be probably the worst Super Bowl I've ever – I don't even know if I'll watch. But good for the Eagles and Chiefs fan. Taylor Swift can go, win another Super Bowl or whatever. But it's list season because once there's no football to actually talk about, there'll be some recruiting stuff. But once that dies down, then you get into all these lists. And we already have them. We got a couple lists here. So looking ahead at who's on the hot seat in 2025. What do you guys think so far? I mean, I mean, Brent Pry, sure. Virginia Tech's been terrible. Troy Taylor, okay. Stanford's terrible. Scott Satterfield, I thought was a little interesting. I know they haven't been great, but Cincinnati has not been terrible, I didn't think. I mean, I forget how they did last year, but I know. I guess I just didn't realize that Cincinnati, after Brian Kelly and Luke Fickell, had reached a point of having actual expectations for their football program.
Yeah, I'm surprised with Loxley. He's kind of turned that program around a little bit.
Yeah, you guys pretty bad.
I mean, they're bad,
at times.
Maryland football standards.
Well, I think about Maryland, I still would go back to Ralph Region, like back in the or no. Who was it? Ralph Region was at North Carolina State, wasn't he? I don't remember. But Maryland had that one big fat white guy that looked like Ralph Region. And they were decent then, and they've been so bad ever since. But Loxley got it turned around for a minute, but they haven't been very good. Sam Pittman, obviously, I'm shocked he still has a job. Billy Napier, Duke will tell you he's not on the hot seat at all. That he's got carte blanche. He can lose as much as he wants for the next couple of years. But Hugh Freeze, Sid says, what a douche. Absolutely. The guy's just a giant douchebag. And I think he's on the hot seat, but he just brought in a great recruiting class where he took 8 of the top 10 players in the state of Alabama.
Yeah. Against your rival where the Crimson Tide have dominated. That recruiting trail for the last 15 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, Travis brings up Brian Kelly should be on that list. If Brian Kelly wasn't owed like $70 million if they fired him, he would be on that list.
You know who I'm not? I'm surprised that's not on that list.
Who?
Is our buddy up in Minnesota.
DJ Fleck?
DJ Fleck.
Okay.
I mean, they beat USC, right? Or almost did. I don't know.
Okay. I'll go in reverse order. The thing that I caution the Auburn fan with is you brought in a guy, Brian Harsin, that it obviously was not working out at all. The Harsin thing was a disaster. So it set your recruiting back. And, for 8 years, they tried to get rid of Gus Malzahn. How did that work out? They would go from Gene Chizik to Gus Malzahn, and then before that, it was nobody knows who the coach was before Gene Chizik, before Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah.
So I would think, and the crazy thing is that, you know what the visitor center is when you walk into the University of Auburn's new football building that they built. Do you know what the big arc is when you walk in there?
I don't know.
No.
The Nix Family Center. And they ran Bo Nix out of town that, is probably going to finish runner-up for the Rookie of the Year. So if I was Auburn fan, I think I better calm down. Just my opinion. The Billy Napier stuff, I think Billy's got to win 9 games. It's trending in the right direction. I don't think I would mess with the recruiting momentum. That's just me. And because if you fire Billy, you're going to lose DJ Lagway. So you lose DJ Lagway, then your program is into a tailspin. In Florida, nobody wants you because of your history of firing people. That's the other thing that they've not took into consideration. And with this, and some guys out there got saved from the revenue sharing. Let's keep that funky too.
Yep.
And then you go Mike Loxley. Maryland's a hard sell, and who wants that job?
It's very hard.
Because I mean, Randy Etzel couldn't turn it around. Arizona football. I don't know. They were supposed to be good, weren't good. Jed Fish took everybody out of the program that was worth a damn and took them to Washington. Cincinnati is a Satterfield on this list is very strange, but I get it. Yeah. Cincinnati wants to. They're bad in basketball right now, so they got to have something to hang on to. And Troy Taylor, I don't know. Good luck. I say good luck. And Brent, I don't know if it is the Virginia Tech thing. It's a strange job because if you know where they're located in Blacksburg, it's kind of out of the way, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a hotbed for recruiting, but as long as you can dominate recruiting in Virginia Beach, but you have another issue. I wouldn't be shocked if Michael Vick ain't the coach there in 3 years.
No, I agree completely. I think that's
he got hired at Norfolk State, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's at Norfolk State. He's obviously trying to go the Deion Sanders route, right? But if you look, Deion Sanders didn't get hired at his alma mater, right? He had to go find another job. Now his alma mater maybe should have higher standards than Virginia Tech. I say maybe because right here's a good point. Mike Norvell should probably be on that list. But the ridiculous buyouts are saving him, just like Brian Kelly, just like Lincoln Riley, who's not on that list, because those guys' buyouts are too much. You can't do that in today's day and age of football. You can't pay a $60-70 million buyout and get rid of your coaches, especially with, I mean, just look at Ohio State losing $37 million last year. You can't do that and pay a guy $70 million to go away and pay the players $25 million. Like, it's just the money dries up eventually.
Well,
it's a good question. If OSU loses to Michigan again, will Ryan Day make the list? Yeah. The answer is no. It's just like Sid said, and I know you're being sarcastic, but don't tell that to Ohio State fans, because there will be a large portion of Ohio State fans that if Ryan Day loses to Michigan next year, they will want him fired, even though he won a natty 8 months before.
Okay, let him lose 2 games going into that, and then
not even that. None of that matters, because as long as they have a chance to make the playoffs, nobody cares about any other game. But if he loses a 5th straight to Michigan, it's not going to be as bad as it was this year, but there's still going to be a large portion of that fan base that wants him gone because of that.
Oh,
I promise you.
Oh yeah,
Sid, yeah, exactly. If Notre Dame lost to USC and won a natty, sign me the fuck up.
Hey, as much as that game pissed me off when my pops and I went, that natty cures all, man. I mean, I hate to rub it into you guys Irish fans, but it is what it is. I mean, that's the landscape. I mean, I'm kind of seeing where they're going. Like, yes, you lose to your rival, but you're going to the playoffs.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. You're in the playoffs.
Yep.
I don't know. I look at the Ryan Day thing through, a little bit different lens now. It's not the fact that they've kind of like said the game doesn't matter, but at some point it's like old ghosts, and like at some point you got to realize like this doesn't fucking matter because our whole goal is to win the whole tournament. That's the goal.
That's the goal. Yeah, as Jake Taylor
Because
said,
you can never lose your job winning national championships.
No, I mean, it would be shocking. That's for sure. But this is another one. I mean, how is Brent Venables not on that list?
I know.
Is it the buyout again? Does he have a crazy buyout? I know he did this year, but it doesn't go down much.
How is Mike Gundy not on that list after he fired his boat?
No, because it's Mike Gundy, dude. He made Oklahoma State into what it is. Oklahoma State was a nothing program for 80 years, and then they finally had a little success. Like, it's like getting rid of Joe Paterno at this point. Like, you can't do it, even if you let somebody diddle some kids.
I thought they were pretty successful when they had Barry Sanders there, when Mike Gundy played.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, it wasn't like they just have been bad for so long. It's not.
So the Venables buyout is $44.8 million.
There you go.
Still too much. Still too much. You got to get it like under $20 million now.
Yeah.
Let's see. What about this? If Day loses to Michigan and Michigan wins a natty, does that change anything?
Yes.
I think I still don't think they fire him.
I think you would play Michigan twice. You either got to play. You'd either play him in the Big Ten title game, which that's something that
you're giving a lot of credit to a team that might not have a lot of their players, a new defensive coordinator, and a sophomore quarterback. Assuming that their only loss is to Michigan and they're going to play them for a title game and play them again in the playoffs or something. Like, you're giving a lot of credit to a team that we'll see how good they are.
Well, look at the schedule. I mean, outside of Michigan and Penn State, who do they in Texas?
Yeah, there's 2 L's. In Texas, there's 3 L's.
Yeah, so
maybe.
they could miss the playoffs. Michigan could keep them out of the playoffs. But from what I hear on the Ohio State side of things, Julian's saying is the next coming. I say I'm gonna wait and see on that. We'll find out real quick.
Everything I've heard from people close is that he's the real deal. Now he hasn't put it on tape yet, so I don't know. I mean, I also heard from a lot of people close that Devin Brown was the real deal, and so we'll see. G, appreciate you listening. OSU finally beats Michigan next year, but drops the Penn State game. Okay, now I have a question for OSU fans. Which game is more important next year? Because, are you scorned so bad by Jim Knowles going to Penn State that you want to beat Penn State more than you want to beat Michigan next year?
I want to beat Michigan. If it were me, you got to beat your rival. Penn State, yeah, they're a rival, but they're not the rival. It's not called the game.
Just imagine the satisfaction of Jim Knowles coming into the Horseshoe, shutting down Ohio State, and getting the win after leaving the way he did. I don't know. I mean, obviously Michigan's the bigger game. I know that.
Oh yeah.
But if I'm an Ohio State fan, I need them both. I don't care if we lose to fucking Indiana or something, but I need to beat both those teams.
Well, I think the Knowles thing is going to be an added incentive, but also, I mean, there's a lot of pieces that Ohio State's losing on defense, and I don't think people are.
I mean, they're losing a good amount, but they're bringing back a lot of people that played. So they're bringing back. You look at if you go position group by position group, their biggest obviously Denzel Burke and Lathan Ransom in the secondary gone. You're going to get Caleb Downs, Igbinosun, and
Jermaine
Matthews back. Lorenzo Stiles played a lot as well, and then I forget the other safety's name right now. But at the linebacker position, you've got Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese back. CJ Hicks has played some. Defensive line is where you're losing probably the majority.
You got Kenyatta Jackson coming back.
Kenyatta Jackson, Caden Curry coming back. Trying to think of who else. Obviously lost Hero Canoe, but that was probably a depth piece anyways.
Hamilton? Is he coming back?
I don't know off the top of my head. I don't.
I
But then
don't-
also at linebacker, you got Pettijohn coming in, who's going to be a stud. So I think they're losing a lot on defense, but I think it's a lot like Michigan's defense last year, where you lost a lot on defense, but you have so much depth and so much talent on that defense that I think they're still going to be a good defense, assuming they get this DC hire right, which we'll talk about in a minute. Offensively, they obviously are losing Will Howard and their 2 running backs in Emeka.
Yeah.
Good luck, Quinshawn.
Hey, he's probably going to be a day 2 pick.
Browns.
But I would not mind that at all. Of all the Browns things to do, I would not mind that at all. We'll get to one more social media thing before we reset the show here. But another list here, which it's funny that we're talking about Ryan Day being on the hot seat, because here's a list of the top 10 coaches in college football after this year. You see, your boy Ryan Day is number 2. So, well, how do you feel about this list, guys? I mean, Kirby Smart should be number 1. That makes sense. I mean, he's won more natties than everybody else except Dabo on the list, and he's been dominating. I know he had a little bit of a down year this year, I guess, if you consider losing to the team that lost in the national championship a down year. But how do you feel about this?
Kalen DeBoer, I'm a little surprised at how he's at number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, he took Washington to a natty.
He did take him to a natty, but filling the Legends' shoes, I mean, it's quite a bit of change to be paying him. Lanning,
Yeah.
I'm surprised Lanning is not up there. I'm surprised Lanning isn't
So,
at like 3.
Yeah, so
Phil Knight.
Yeah, but I think here's the thing, and I'll tell you my thoughts first, and then I'll let Duke chime in. Kirby's right where he should be. I don't have a problem with Ryan at 2, just based off of he won a natty, so that puts him in a rare conversation. He's now one of only 3 active coaches to have a national championship, being Kirby, Dabo, and Ryan. So obviously, I think you could put Dabo higher just because of his history, but he hasn't been one of the best coaches over the past few years. Although he did take them to the playoffs this year with a team that I didn't think was playoff worthy. Sark at 3, I think is just I don't quite understand Sark at 3. I mean, I know he's been successful, but I mean, as a head coach, I haven't seen him do a whole lot. He hasn't won a playoff game. DeBoer, I get it. You took Washington to a natty. Dan Lanning, I think, is right where he should be. I don't have a problem with him at 5. I could put him higher, but he also hasn't won a playoff game or done anything. Like, he's just been a regular season success that can't win the game. Doesn't matter. Marcus Freeman at 6, I could make the argument that I would put Marcus Freeman above Lanning and DeBoer and maybe even Sark. Because I think he's been more successful. Now he has worse losses than maybe at least Lanning. I don't know, DeBoer and those, but I would have if I ranked it right now, I'd go Kirby, Day, Dabo. Even though I don't agree he's the 3rd best coach, but just titles have to matter. And then Marcus, Lanning, DeBoer. Franklin, Heupel. You're not getting me to put Brian Kelly on the top 10 list, but Lane Kiffin not being on the top 10 is crazy. That's why that's a great point right there. But Duke, what do you think?
Okay, when I look at this list, no argument between Kirby, no argument between they. That's pretty much right where it is. Now, if you wanted to, if the Natties hold any weight, I think this is like a 3-part list. When I look at it, Dabo, Kirby, and Ryan are in their own realm just because they've been to the mountaintop and they've won it.
Yeah,
that's point blank. Period, in my opinion. Yeah. And you have some kind of younger coaches. You have Sark, DeBoer, Landing, and Marcus all together. Those guys, to me, you're on the prove it deal. And if you want to go higher, to me, all them coaches are kind of on the same plane. It's the way I look at them, because they all do some things really, really well, but they haven't got over the hump. Sark, great play caller, can't get over a hump. Kalen DeBoer taking over for Saban, couldn't get over the hump last year against Michigan. Now he took over. He won 9 games at Alabama. He's got to figure that whole thing out. You can go down the laundry list. Lost 40 scholarship guys. Dan Lanning at Oregon, more money than God. They're spending it like it's going out of style. Got to figure it out. Marcus Freeman, great defensive mind. Same with Landing. They got Raleigh backing them. They got to get some skill on the perimeter. They're spending more money on than in NIL. Got to figure it out. Now, when it comes to and I think Heupel's on that prove it thing, because Josh Heupel's also a young coach. He fits in with the Marcus DeBoer, but he's got to win a little bit more at a consistent level, because I think if he craters this year at Tennessee, they'll fire him. That's just my opinion. I've been saying that they might shit can Heupel for 2 years now because of having letdowns at the end of the season. I don't know what it is with Tennessee, but it seems like once November rolls around, that team folds up like a paper mache on a cruise ship. Now, when it comes to I haven't won shit James Franklin and I haven't won shit Brian Kelly, these guys have been doing it a long time. James Franklin wins a lot of games every year, but he hasn't got over the hump. I don't think that he is in the trajectory with DeBoer, Landing, and Marcus because of age reasons. And James, if they don't get over the hump this year, I wouldn't be shocked if Penn State moves on. Brian Kelly is what he is. Against top 10 teams, James Franklin is 4-20. He's 4-20, and the
he
reason
just
why
went to the Final Four, though.
I mean, the playoffs may be the only thing saving James Franklin at this point. And he just hired Jim Knowles, so we can see if this gets turned around. But the Brian Kelly thing. Brian Kelly we know what he is. I think he's looking for a one-way ticket out. If things go south at Michigan, don't be shocked if he picks up his ball and runs to Michigan, and that would be, music to the ears of Ohio State fans, because that means he'll completely come in, change the culture, and it'll be a Brian Kelly program, so it'll never win shit. But also, the reason why Lane Kiffin is not on this list, because Lane Kiffin – while James Franklin is 4-20 against top 10 opponents, Lane Kiffin is 4-15 against top 10 opponents. So I would say that's why they're keeping Lane Kiffin off this list. But it's just one of those things that, you got a bunch of coaches in the clump there that got to, they're all crabs in a bucket. They all got to get out of there one day. And, somebody else has got to win it, because is this where Ryan Day's reign of dominance starts? Because we thought it started right there with Kirby, but, everybody thought it was going to be there with Urban, and Urban only won one. But I think Ryan Day's got a little bit of a cushion when it comes to the hot seat with his job security.
Yeah. I will say the only thing I'll say that I disagree with a little bit is I still put Marcus and DeBoer, like, there's level tier 1, which is Day, Kirby, and Dabo because of natties. Then there's tier 2, which is anybody that's played for a natty and is at the top of the game right now, which I would put DeBoer and Marcus in, and then everybody else, because none of those other coaches have played for a natty. Lanning, Brian Kelly. Well, Brian Kelly's played for natties, but he's old and sucks. Franklin, those guys. So I would still put, that's why I'd still put, 1 through 3 is the natty coaches, then Marcus and DeBoer, and then the other 5 you can put in any order you want. And I would still put Lane Kiffin up there. I mean, if you're going to put James Franklin up there, I think Lane Kiffin's a better coach than Josh Heupel.
I think Heupel's got to prove it. Right. I don't think he's got as much of a body of work as what Kiffin does. Yeah, because Kiffin's been, a head coach for over 10 plus years. Heupel's been doing this 5 or 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6. And I mean, he brought Tennessee back from the depths of the abyss.
I mean, they were.
And
Elko.
I mean, they got Dion. I mean, Dion's probably top 20.
I don't know. There's a lot of crabs in the bucket there. Once you get out of the top 10, there's a lot of
Travis
guys.
brings up a good point. Shouldn't Belichick be number one? He's the most accomplished coach in college football. Dude has 6 Super Bowl rings.
I don't know.
But, dude, go ahead and reset the show for us, and then I got an exciting little announcement. We'll play a little video for you.
All right. If you're watching out there on X, come on over to YouTube. We got a ton of people in the chat tonight. The show is rolling along. This is what we're doing over here. We're going to be rolling Monday through Friday, all off season. And then even when the season rolls around, hopefully by then we'll be able to add a morning call-in show. We'll be able to, when we're going to be adding some members-only content when we reach that level. And also we'll have Saturday streams as well throughout the college football day. So, it's going to be an action-packed. Everybody says, football's 200 days away. Well, you got to think spring ball will be here. And then after that, we are going to be then we're going to be June, July. And before you know it, the season will be here. So with that being said, hit the like and subscribe button now and don't miss an opportunity because we're trending in the right direction. And we appreciate everybody liking and subscribing to the show.
Absolutely. Hit that like and subscribe. Get the bell notifications on so you can get notified when we go live. I appreciate everybody. So we had a little bit of a spike over the past couple days in viewers and subscribers and everything like that. So we were able to bring on our first partner. And so we do have a nice little ad for you guys here. So we'll be right back after this here.
What's up, guys? If you have been watching the show for a while, if you're like me, that you love a good nicotine pouch. So that's why we're super excited to offer our first ever promotion here on the show. ALP pouches, ALP pouches, the new standard in nicotine pouches. A better time without pouches. A better time isn't just a tagline, it's a promise. We love nicotine pouches and we're here to share that love. Better products, better experiences, and a genuine commitment to a better world. That's why a portion of every sale goes to real causes, not political players. Simple, honest, and yes, better. Best part about ALP pouches is you get more pouches in every tin. That's right, you get 20 pouches per tin as opposed to the regular 15. Also, tins come in 3 different strengths from 3, 6, and 9 milligrams, so you can pick your strength. And amazing flavors. All the pouches come with enhanced moisture, so no more dry pouches chafing your lips or giving you cuts and scratches on your inner lips. They come in all sorts of great flavors, all your typical flavors, or try my favorite, the refreshing chill or the tropical fruit in the 9 milligram. ALP isn't just better, ALP is the new standard. Created by real users, not suits in a boardroom. We've made the product they never could. So go over to alppouch.com/Duke Show. That's ALPPOUCH.com/Duke Show to get 10% off your first purchase of America's newest nicotine pouch standard.
All right. I don't know about you guys. I love some pouches. I got one of their.
I love my pouches. Oh, I can't wait.
I got one of their refreshing chill 9 milligrams in right now, and they're just better, man. They're better pouches. I used to do the Zins and the Rogues and stuff like that, and I've tried Lucy. I've tried all the brands. So go out there and get you some ALP pouches. I appreciate everybody who does, and as we continue to grow this show, we look for plenty of opportunities to partner with companies like that are interested in helping us grow and helping support us. So other than that, we got some news out of the Senior Bowl. Now, have you guys been paying attention to the Senior Bowl at all?
A little bit.
A little bit. Well, Riley Leonard was down there. Marcus was down there. Obviously, who are the 3 that are down there? Riley Leonard, R.J. Oben, and Jack Kaiser down there from Notre Dame. So Marcus is down there hanging out with them. But one guy who's getting a lot of looks from the NFL has been creeping up the draft board. Kind of Anthony Richardson 2.0. Jalen Milroe is down there. And guys, I have a video for you just showing you how good he has been.
They're having a hard time getting a snap today, guys. and that just throws off the whole rhythm.
Oh, there you go.
Jack
Kaiser. Yeah.
Oski.
Yeah, that is a pick by Jack Kaiser, by the way. But I mean, they're talking about him being maybe the first quarterback off the board or one of the top three, like Shador, Cam, Jalen. Like that's what I'm hearing. Like people are talking about the Browns taking him.
Oh God.
I'm
not
on
kidding.
board with
I'm
this.
not kidding. No,
Oh
I
my
will literally drive up to Berea and go to prison. Like it's not going to be
I'm
good.
on board with this.
Guys, why do they do this? He's
They
not
have to hype
good.
up. They have to hype up 3 quarterbacks every single draft season, Carter. He's not good. He should be a
And you pick
tailback.
him?
Hey, the Browns draft Milroe and Travion Henderson. That's a dynamic backfield.
I'm fine with Trey, but fuck, take Will Howard in the 3rd round. Take Kyle McCord at that point.
Hey, Daniel Jones is available, I bet.
I'm good. I'll pass on that experiment, but if it means not getting Milroe, maybe I'd take it.
Maybe
Drafting
AR5.
the first 5 rounds is a mistake. I agree. I can't believe teams like Shador over Cam Ward. That's an interesting argument. How do you guys feel about Shador over Cam Ward?
I like it.
It depends on what you're looking for. The one thing I will give Shador credit for is he doesn't turn the ball over. He does not throw interceptions.
He's smart.
And I think that is more valuable in the NFL than anything because, you know, your average points off of turnover is 3.5. So every time you turn it over, it's either going to be a field goal or touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like Cam Ward better as a prospect, I think, but it depends on what you're looking for. Cam Ward is more of like a Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams, like doesn't play like a system quarterback type stuff. But I go back to that TCU game by Shador a couple of years ago. I mean, dude completed 86% of his passes, threw for 500 some yards and 4 touchdowns. Like, he's got the talent. I don't care either way. I don't want the Browns to draft either one, if I'm being honest with you. But they probably will, and the one they draft will be the wrong one, I promise you.
Oh, yeah, they will.
Just do the opposite of whatever they do.
Yeah. Trade the pick. Trade the pick.
They're not going to do that, I promise you. But then somebody else, we got a nice little Notre Dame guy who's actually really impressing. RJ Oben has just been killing it down there. And I like RJ Oben a lot. I don't know where his grade is right now, but I like him a lot on that D-line spot. And I think he's going to be great. And then the last video I have that was sent to me is Mike Green. Do you guys know who Mike Green is?
I saw this today.
Oh, yeah. Out of Marshall. Oh, dude, he absolutely will bros this dude. Like, this is an offensive lineman who's fighting for draft position out of Oregon, and he gets absolutely shit on.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Wow.
I mean, dude just absolutely trucked him.
Bull rushed his ass.
Absolutely trucked him. But I mean, I've never really heard of him, but his draft stock, they're projecting him as maybe a first rounder now. And it's all because of the Senior Board. So,
it sounds like maybe Charles Huff can coach.
Maybe they should have given him more money on the NIL front and helped him out.
Hey, but we'll give you a Tudor's biscuit.
He tried, man. He tried to do everything he could. They wouldn't help him. And he's like, man, fuck it. I'll pay for a Tudor's biscuit every day.
It's, whenever we got a little bit of time before we reset again for the final segment, but I cannot believe that the way that whole deal went down. That is a very, very interesting endeavor. And I bet Southern Miss in 2 to 3 years is really good. And Marshall is, completely
still Marshall.
Yeah, still Marshall, not committing to anything, but I just don't know why you wouldn't want to keep him around. And then I don't know either. 20 some players hit the portal on you. You can't play in the bowl game. That is just a rough patch that they got rolling there. I just don't get it.
Yep.
I think the last time Marshall football was good was when Byron Leftwich was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. And then I'll throw this up here and let you guys talk about it. I gotta jump off real quick. But the top 10 most expensive offenses in college football projected for next year. Have you guys thought about that at all? Or, well, here's what they are. And I think, number one doesn't shock me, but Duke, I'll let you start, and then I'll be right back.
All right. Ohio State being number one, not shocked by that at all. I'm not shocked that Texas is up there, but Penn State really shocks me. That's the one that sticks out. Oregon, LSU, Oklahoma had to spend some coin. Oh,
MSU in the top 10 though, Duke.
yeah. I would say they would even be higher on the list if they would have got the Underwood kid. Miami's got some strategic places or positions they need to fill, like quarterback being one. How this spring transfer window shakes out is going to be very interesting. I think it'll be one of the most interesting portal seasons because when it opens up compared to the winter one, I think the playoffs kept a lot of people in place, so we might see some movement, a little more movement out of somewhere like Ohio State. He says LSU has the top transfer portal class. Yeah, they did spend a lot of money in the portal, but I think that Nussmeier getting a huge NIL deal helps, because you had to pay the quarterback. I think he might have went to the draft. Can't wait to hear the excuses for LSU next year. Yeah, that is a very interesting endeavor on how the LSU thing will pan out. Another team on this list, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's got to get it figured out, in my opinion.
Yeah,
They're
they gotta get it.
bringing in Meeks, the Wazoo transfer. See if that will change their fortune. They got rid of Jackson Arnold. Jackson Arnold now at Auburn with Uncle Hugh. I don't know where that's going to land Oklahoma, because I think this is Brett Venables' shit or get off the pot deal here. He's either going to win or he's not, and if I think the people at Oklahoma have had
they've had enough. They've had enough of the Brett Venables show.
Right, they've had enough of hearing about Venables, and we're almost there. Can we figure it out at Oklahoma? I think that it's Dunzo on that front, and then Miami, like I said, they got to replace their quarterback. I don't really follow Miami too close. Notre Dame's going to see them week 1 in August. I think it's August 31st. And SMU, I'm interested in SMU. I think that
I am too, Duke. Just from what you've told me with the oil money and the boosters and everything, I'm curious to see what kind of talent they can bring in and what kind of type of offense they can muster out there next season.
Yeah, SMU is going to be a very interesting story. I think they need to get bigger up front, on the offensive line, defensive line. They came from the American. They did, they made the ACC championship game, lost to Clemson, obviously. I think that when you're looking at a program like SMU, they have room to grow as far as resources and things like that, and I think that they'll give Rhett Lashley the tools to go get players. That's pretty much, in my opinion, what you gotta do on any front is you have to have resources to get players, and then the biggest question, and I think that if we get thrown in the right circles, we're going to get questioned to death about this. And I'm not doing any extensive research looking into it, and that is who's going to be the starting quarterback at Alabama. It's going to be the one that walks out there week one, quarter one. That's just my opinion. I'm not going to be spending. Well, is it going to be the Russell kid or the Simpson kid? The Russell kid. I don't know, and
Yeah, I mean,
why
I
not?
was curious to see Alabama at 10, like because the quarterback situation. Who like you were just saying, Duke. Like who's gonna be taking the snaps week one, quarter one?
Because we know Klubnik's going to be the. If you go down the list, I'm assuming Sayan's going to be the starter at Ohio State. Arch Manning at Texas. Drew Aller, Penn State. Cade Klubnik, Clemson. Oregon, question mark. LSU, Nussmeier. The Meeks kid from Washington State at Oklahoma. Miami, I have no idea. But
Carson.
SMU. Huh?
Carson Beck.
Oh, yeah, Miami's got Carson Beck. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
How could I forget about Miami having Carson Beck, the TikTok sensation?
Yep.
And the one person I think that's making a big mistake in this is I hopefully it works out for him, but Quinn Ewers is making a big gamble.
Yeah, I mean, he could. We'll see what he does in the draft, but other than that, I mean, we'll see. I don't care. This is all like projected spending as well, so it doesn't mean a whole lot to me. But other than that, in coaching news, and to get more about our Notre Dame Fighting Irish stuff, and obviously the big news that came out today is that officially Chris Ash is going to be hired as the defensive coordinator at the University of Notre Dame for the 2025 fall season. We obviously talked about this. I had heard this was in the works. I think it was expected to be finalized at the end of last week, but then with the Jim Knowles news, I think there was a little bit of hesitation by Ash to accept the position without talking to Ohio State. And it also gave, I mean, let's be honest, with the Ohio State position open and Ash's connection to Ohio State, it gave Chris Ash more leverage over Notre Dame to say, hey, Ohio State might want me. How bad do you want me? And so I haven't seen the contract. They haven't released it yet. And I know they're finalizing that still. But I said it on whatever day show that was, Friday's show maybe, that I thought this was a huge opportunity for Ohio State to land what I think is one of the better defensive coordinators in the country right now. And I think it's a great hire. I mean, losing Al Golden, who is arguably the second best defensive coordinator in the country behind, I think Jim Knowles did the best job maybe. So keeping that top tier defensive coordinator. And the other thing this does, it's been reported, is that Mickens, the secondary coach and past defensive coordinator, is going to stick around. So you're not going to lose Mickens, which I know is a lot of people's concern when talking about an outside hire. And so it looks like you're going to keep Mickens, who a lot of people wanted promoted to DC, and you're going to bring in a top-tier defensive coordinator, which that's exactly what Marcus needed to do. So I feel really good about this. I mean, obviously, Ohio State fans know Chris Ash from his time at Ohio State. What are your guys' thoughts?
I think it's a great hire for Notre Dame. I wish he might have returned back to Columbus to fill Jim Knowles' shoes, because he was part of the reason why Ohio State won that Natty back in 2014, and why their defense was number 19 and number 9, 14 and 15.
Yep.
Hats off for Notre Dame for making a decent, I wouldn't say decent, a great hire in replacing Al Golden. He's going to fit right. He's going to fit right along with Marcus at Notre Dame. I have no doubt about it. It'll be. It's a good fit for him.
I agree.
When it comes to the Ash hire, I think Ryan Day's in a very delicate situation with his staff, because it's going to be, I don't know, the Matt G thing in good luck to you, Ryan. You went there, but if it was me, if I was Ryan Day, I would have hired Chris Ash because
maybe he couldn't have.
he was with him in San Francisco the year that they were there.
Oh, I know. I know. I'm saying maybe he tried to. If the rumors about Knowles are true, Notre Dame was willing to pay $250,000 more for Knowles than Ohio State was willing to pay. Maybe Ryan tried, but Notre Dame spent more money or gave him a better offer. I don't know. So you don't know that Ryan didn't try to, is what I'm saying. But I don't disagree. You look at Chris's history, and he's done a great job. He had Wisconsin in the top 15 both years he was DC there. Obviously, Arkansas didn't have a great defense when he was there. Texas in 2020, but that was COVID year, so I don't count it. But I mean, and Ohio State's got a tough choice ahead of them. They're going to have to make some decisions.
Aren't you kind of handcuffed when you got Tom Herman as your head coach? Just saying. I'm not throwing any shade.
Tom Herman does love to use handcuffs. Let me tell you. But
so
flight attendants, strippers. He doesn't discriminate. Anybody he can handcuff, he's down.
So
he's like Jesus. He loves
snort a line off their asshole. I mean, what did I say? Never mind.
Venice. Who's Venice?
Who's Venice? Oh, I was talking about going to Venice. But no, great hire. Like I said, he produces top 15 defenses more times than he doesn't. Obviously, Rutgers was a bit of a failure, but he's been a scout, an assistant. And I saw somebody earlier comment, I hope Chris Ash can recruit because that's going to be a big part. Well, and Sid said it. I think Sid said, well, if Ohio State wanted him, he can recruit. That's absolutely true. And just to give you a little bit more confidence in his recruiting, he came up as a defensive coach, but also a recruiting coordinator. So he has a lot of experience in the recruiting world. Obviously, it's changed drastically over the past decade, but he has a lot of experience there. So I think ultimately it's going to be a great hire. I don't think you lose recruits. You're not going to lose defensive coaches. He works really well with others. He worked great with Luke Fickell as co-DC. He tried his hardest to work great with Greg Schiano as co-DC. So he it is what it is. I think he's going to be a great hire and a great addition, and he'll work really well with Marcus Freeman, which I think is the biggest thing. I think Luke Fickell probably had a lot to do with this hire. I'm sure Marcus called Luke before hiring Chris Ash, and Luke told him, this guy, yeah. I'll promise you. But
because he's probably thinking, get Chris in there and then get him out of there. So whenever I get fired at Wisconsin, I got somewhere to go.
I could be DC when he leaves in a couple years.
And with that being said, we'll get to the last portion of the show. But for everybody watching out there on Twitter, come on over to YouTube. We got a ton of people in the chat tonight. Hit that like and subscribe button. Help us grow this thing. We're growing this thing. And, check out the Out Patches
pouches.
Yeah,
Out
pouches.
What did you say, patches, Duke?
Yeah. No. Outpouch.com/Duke Show.
So give that is the promo code. Yeah. Promo code.
But in other news around Notre Dame's coaching staff, I have two others. Joe Rudolph, Notre Dame's O-line coach, has been interviewed by the Bears and is rumored to be a person of interest by the Bears. The Bears just need to leave us alone, all right? You guys tried to interview Marcus Freeman. He said no. Just please go away. Stop talking to the coaches at Notre Dame. Nobody wants to be a Bears coach. But in other good news, I heard Justin Fry also got an interview with the Bears. So, Justin Fry interviewed with the Bears, and there's a lot of Ohio State fans that told me that Justin Fry should be fired that are currently saying, well, that's good for him. I don't think he could get the job. Like, you're still telling me you don't think he's good enough to get the job. Okay, well, when he takes the job, it's because of fucks like you. But
thank you. Yep. I don't know shit about football.
So the good news is that Rudolph isn't the only person that's being linked to that job. But Justin Fry to the Bears, I think, is more likely at this point. just because I think Justin Fry, first of all, if what everybody complains about Justin Fry is true, that he's a lazy recruiter and that he doesn't want to recruit, then going to the NFL solves that issue.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is that let's say Fry goes, who's Ohio State going to go get?
Yeah, that's a good question. What's Steve Adazio up to?
Yeah, what's he doing?
He's in the booth. I'd go after Alex Atkins if he doesn't have a job.
Yeah, you go. I mean, there's a lot of people you can go talk to, and I mean, they'll get somebody. There's plenty of O-line coaches out there. Not that Justin Fry is not a good O-line coach, but
Charles Bentley.
Yeah, bring him in. Everybody wanted him all year. I don't think he's. Here's the thing that I'll tell you, and this is just what I've been told by people I respect that have coached football. Some people for a long time and some people for not as long. There's a big difference between being really good at teaching the technical aspects of offensive line play, like hand placement and things like that, and teaching five guys, God damn it. Teaching five guys how to play as a unit and play and putting together an O-line. So nothing against Charles Bentley. He might be a great offensive line coach. I'm just saying when you have former players that are like Quincy Avery, one of the biggest names in quarterback development, is really good at the technical aspects of coaching, of developing quarterbacks, of teaching technique and things like that. Doesn't mean he would be a good quarterbacks coach, right? They're two different things, but so we'll see. I don't know. I'm sure the Bears are interviewing more than just Rudolph and Fry. So I'm not even saying either one of those guys is going to get an offer or take it. But I did think it was interesting that I saw the news broke and I'd heard that Rudolph was interviewing there. And then I got a text a couple hours later about Fry interviewing there. And I was like, well, I guess when you play for a natty, they just interview your coaches everywhere. That's just
that's just like even at the NFL, like coaches go, they leave, they get hired. If they win a Super Bowl or something like that, shit like that, like it's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. Ohio State and Notre Dame both lost their defensive coordinator. Ohio State, Notre Dame, both having their own line coach recruited and interviewed by the Bears and NFL people. Chip Kelly was linked to the Texans OC job. The GM for Notre Dame takes the USC job. You're going to lose people. Now, on the GM front, there is an interesting development that came out just before the show started that I think is very interesting. The GM of Texas Tech, James Blanchard, has been linked to the Notre Dame GM position and is the front runner and expected to take the job. He's expected to be hired, and he's viewed as one of the best GM prospects in college football. Like he was an assistant AD at Baylor. He was a scout for the Carolina Panthers. He was a recruiting coordinator for a long time with Baylor and other universities. He's kind of like a lesser known Mark Pantoni, and he's been linked to the job, and I believe Notre Dame's interviewing him, and he right now is who they're looking at replacing the GM that went to USC, and that's huge because I don't think a lot of people realize, because the GM position is so new in college football, I don't think a lot of people realize how important that position is. And let me just put it this way: Urban Meyer and Ryan Day don't win natties at Ohio State without Mark Pantoni.
Yeah, other than Pantoni wears his shirt.
No, Pantoni. Listen, I know him a little bit, and he's a little out there, a little different guy, but he's a great guy, and he's really good at what he does.
Yeah.
You'd never expect him to be so good at connecting with 18-year-old kids and like selling Ohio State, but he's great at it. And so you bring somebody like Blanchard in who has, I think, just based off what I've heard about him, and I don't know a lot about him, but I've heard a little bit. When I heard this come out, I reached out to some people that I thought might have been around him, and he's definitely got the personality for it. And he's kind of like he's a guy that players like, and so I think that would be a huge hire. And so if you're Notre Dame or Ohio State right now, after playing for a natty, Ohio State winning a natty, the biggest test of a coach, because you see this all the time, is you're going to lose big pieces to what made you successful, and the ability to replace those with people of similar capabilities. Because, I mean, let's be honest, you can't always replace a Jim Knowles with another Jim Knowles. Like, there might be a little drop off, but if you can keep it at a level high enough, then you can keep things going that direction. And so a lot of times that's why you see these coaches win one natty and then regress, is because you lose so much of what made you great. And it's so hard to find people that are at that level. I think Marcus is doing a great job of replacing what he's losing with people at the similar level and being that are really good at what they are asked to do.
And when it happened to Dabo, he lost his offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and the only thing that was really left by the time Venables took everybody was his interns.
Yeah. And cousins, a lot of cousins.
Dabo's cousins.
But then
He hired
again,
all the cousins.
But then again, you hire Matt G. It could be Ryan Day and the cousins.
Well, Matt G's not Ryan's cousin. That's Jim Knowles' cousin.
I wouldn't be shocked if Matt G decides to dip. I wouldn't be.
Oh, I would be absolutely shocked. Absolutely shocked.
I'd be shocked.
I don't see that happening. The reason is, first of all,
if
Penn
he
State
doesn't
have
get
a spot
the
for
job.
him.
If he doesn't get
okay, yeah, maybe then. Although it depends on who they bring in or who they hire. I would imagine him and Tim Walton probably have developed a relationship over the last year, and he might be okay with that. If it's not Tim Walton and they bring somebody from outside, it just depends on who it is. But Matt G's not going to Penn State. I promise you that.
I'm not saying will go to Penn State. I think if he doesn't get the job, I think he'll split.
He'll probably stay one more year before he splits, just because it's so late in the cycle already. Jobs are taken.
Yeah.
But regardless, I mean that's all I got for tonight. We got talking a little bit there, but all in all, a lot of exciting stuff going on. I think Notre Dame fans should be really happy about what Marcus is doing with this offseason, given what he's losing.
What do we got here? What's up, Joe?
What's up in Irishland? Well, Joe, in Irishland, Notre Dame hired Chris Ash as defensive coordinator. Joe Rudolph is interviewing for a job, and they might hire a GM. That's about it. Everything else pretty standard.
Yeah,
I ain't got nothing else. You got anything, Richie?
No, just the latest mock draft had the Cleveland Clowns taking at number 2 Abdul Carter.
Oh, well, that doesn't make me upset. I expected to be upset.
It was Bucky Brooks's mock draft on NFL.com.
Okay. I love that.
Shador to the Titans. My cousin will be pissed because he does not want him. Cam Ward to who's that? Cam Ward to the Giants. Travis Hunter to the Patriots. Yeah. Mason Graham to the Jags.
Oh, okay.
Well, I got fuck you for Liam Cohen.
Duval.
Dude, Liam, what
I know you love him.
Fuck him. Fucking
but
dickhead.
Joe said, oh, sorry. Joe here said he's cool with Ash. You should be. I love it. Great hire. No, I don't want Rudolph to leave either. I think that would be a massive loss for the O-line. Losing another O-line coach like that after this year, I think he's doing great things. I don't think he will. I would be kind of surprised if the Bears hired him. I think they probably won't hire Justin Fry or Rudolph, but if they do, I hope it's Justin Fry. Personally, for a lot of different reasons. I know Justin Fry pretty well, and it would be awesome for him to get that job. Him personally, and also Ohio State fans, I don't really believe you deserve Justin Fry anymore.
Ohio State needs Justin Fry. I'm one of the people that have been his biggest supporters.
I know you have, but you're not part of the lunatic majority. You're part of the rational minority. All right.
The last thing I got on it is, let's say they hire Rudolph, the Bears do, and then Notre Dame hires Justin Fry.
That would be a weird hire because I don't think anybody at Notre Dame has any experience with Justin Fry. I mean, it doesn't mean that it wouldn't happen, but that'd be cool. I'd be all for that. Hell yeah. Actually, let's do that. No, I think Rudolph's a great coach. I don't want him to leave Notre Dame. But selfishly, I want that to happen so that I have direct access to coaches at Notre Dame, though.
So it's, it is what it is. But outside of that, I ain't got nothing else, fellas.
No, me either, man. I
I got
appreciate
nothing
everybody
else.
tuning in.
All right. Well, with that being said, go get you some Alp pouches.
There you go. Outpouches.com/Duke Show. Order them tonight. They're great.
They got 3, 6, and 9. Damn good
Yeah.
find.
If you don't get the 9s, I don't know if I can trust you.
But
Oh, I'm getting the 9s.
yeah, so and hit that like and subscribe button. Help us grow this thing. That's what we're trying to do. We're going to be with you Monday through Friday all the way up until the season starts, and then we'll even add Saturday in there. So with that being said, like Joe says here, hit the like button. Help us get this up in the algorithm. And with that being said, everybody have a good night.
Have a great night, everybody.